Welcome everybody today. This is the fifth installment of our six-part series on the social media marketing. It's a beginner's guide. So it's kind of an overview of how to market your business or organization on social media. Like Kim said, I am the founder of the After LLC. We're a digital marketing agency. We specialize in social media marketing and web development. So today we're going to be talking about our fifth cycle, which is content marketing fundamentals. So we're going to talk about how to create content to market your business. What are some things that you should focus on when thinking about creating content to market your business? So we're just going to get started. We're going to jump right in to content marketing fundamentals. If you have any questions, you can pop those into the chat. I'm also going to, at the beginning here, share my email. So if you have any more in-depth questions, you can always send me an email. I'm also going to share our website so that you can check us out there as well. So content marketing fundamentals. The question I pose for you guys today is how can social media managers create and curate enough great content to keep followers engaged? I know that it's been a struggle for me in the past to try to always create content. And, I was always trying to figure out what should I do tomorrow? What should I do the next day? And it took up so much real estate in my mind, constantly thinking about how to create engaging content. But there is a formula, and I really want to help you guys figure out the key factors in creating content that keeps followers engaged, and ultimately converts. So let's just go through this and figure out how we can create content that's great content and keeps followers engaged. So first thing is we need to create a content strategy. A content strategy is going to have missions, goals, and KPIs. We talked about KPIs a couple weeks ago. KPIs are key performance indicators. So the metrics, how we measure the outcomes of our missions and our goals. So your social media should align with your company mission. Your social media mission should align with your company mission. And so we talked about this before when we talked about building a social media plan. This content strategy should very much so be a part of your social media plan. So you want to make sure that your mission aligns with your overall or overarching business mission as well. For example, there's an example of this is from Contently. It's an article they wrote about creating social media content strategies. There was an executive director of content and communication. And so obviously he was curating content for social media. And he states, at various points in our history, we talked a lot about what's wrong with healthcare, what's broken. We've got a lot of mileage out of that in terms of thought leadership. He also said, but we've made a conscious move to point but we made a conscious move to point the way toward a solution, being that voice of hope and optimism to help doctors and others. So this was a mission that seems as if it's their business mission, but really it was their social media strategy. So they were talking about information that they were sharing with their followers and what the topics surrounded. So when you're creating, so if you're working in the field of healthcare, if you're working in retail, if you're working in whatever field, you want to make sure that you're thinking about, what am I sharing with my followers, my followership? What is the value that they see from my social media channel? And that will be a part of your mission. So if you're in the healthcare industry and you're thinking about the health and safety of your community, then your content should be surrounding that as well. Your content should be tips and tricks on how to stay healthy in a pandemic, or things like that. So really make sure that you're thinking about what kind of content you're curating based off of your overall business mission and where your business industry lies. Again, that's the same thing as the next one, set goals that align with your business plan. For example, if you have a business plan that says we're going to have this many sales in 2021, make sure that you're aligning your social media goals with your and your content goals with your goal of making more sales. So we won't go into that too deep, but if you have any questions about how to set goals that align with your business plan, you can definitely send me an email. But we want to set goals that align with your overall outcome or overarching business plan as far as making sales or your reach, things like that. So we want to make sure that those things align. Also, identify metrics that can help you accurately measure engagement. So these are your KPIs, your key performance indicators. Um, I would say that metrics that help you accurately measure engagement would be things like page views, shares, comments. Those are the types of things where you really see that people are engaging with your content. When your page views go up 30%, then you're recognizing that people are coming, people are listening, people are involved. Your shares, people want other people to know this information. They want to share this with their friends and their families. Excuse me. And when people comment, people are giving their feedback, people are engaging with your work, with your content. And so those are metrics or key performance indicators that help you accurately measure engagement, and they're helping you to see whether your mission aligns with your company mission and whether your goals align with your business plan. So that those are the types of things that you really need to keep an eye on to make sure that you are creating a content strategy that is overall helping your business to grow. So also, when you're creating a content strategy, it's important to know your audience. Who are your primary and secondary audience? Your primary audience, for example, if you were to create software, um, if you were to create software for a social media marketing company, for example, we use Hootsuite. Um, so if we use Hootsuite to manage our social media posts, to check analytics, to download reports, etc. So for me as a content manager, as a social media marketer, I am going to be a primary audience for a software like Hootsuite. But what is my secondary? What would be the secondary audience? I have an assistant that would be someone who is also a part of the decision-making process. So she would be a part of my secondary audience. I also have other clients that I work for. They might be a part of my secondary audience because they're also helping influence my decision to purchase that software. So when you're thinking about your audience on social media, you also have to think about your primary and secondary audience. Who are you specifically targeting, and who are the people that help the person you're targeting make a decision to buy your product or subscribe to your services? That's what you really have to be thinking about, because you don't want to be too narrow and only target people who are the primary. You have to think about the entire decision-making process and who influences those decision-making processes, and make sure that those are people are in your thoughts too when creating content. Um, I would say interviewing existing customers as well is important. How do they identify? What are their habits? What are they reading? What are their pain points? Because you really want to know who are the people who are already attracted to my business, to my content, and what are they like? What do they like? What do they dislike? Um, where do they live? All of those things are important to understanding who identifies with your content. And so that will help you continue to target future followers, future customers, by knowing your existing audience. And then also just knowing the demographics of your audience is important too. So the age, location, ethnicity, industry, all of those specifics are important. I think that when you have a written demographics and all of that information, it helps you to really shape your content in order to fit the people who identify with your content. So that's very important. You can find all of those metrics on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, etc. So that it's not really too hard to find. If you want some help with that, I can definitely help you with that. Please send me an email, and I can help you figure out your demographics based on your existing followers. Okay, creating a content strategy. So I would say you have to do your SEO homework. Um, Finding your keywords is very important when you're creating a content. And this goes back to what we talked about before, using hashtags. Those are important to reaching the audience that you need in order to eventually convert your product. You have to be in conversations, be a part of communities that identify with your product or your service. So what are your primary and secondary keywords? For example, primary keyword for our business would be digital marketing. That's a primary keyword because we know that most people in our industry, most of our customers or our future clients are going to identify with that word. But what are our secondary keywords? So secondary keywords would be something that part of our industry might identify with. For example, a secondary keyword for us might be Instagram. So Instagram, not every business or organization uses Instagram. It's not suited for every business or organization, but it's suited for some of our clients or our potential followers. So we might use that as a keyword, and that might be a secondary keyword that we use. So primary is something that a keyword that most of your demographic or most of your followers or customers are going to identify with, and then the secondary keywords are keywords that a portion of your followers will identify with. So keeping that in mind, making sure you find your keywords. I will share a link if you send me an email on finding these keywords as well. So there's a few tools that you can use. Some of them are free, some of them are paid, but I can share a list of resources on helping you do your SEO homework. All right. So this is the graphic I got from Contently. This is a content funnel. So it's very similar to a sales funnel, but you want to make sure that you're creating with your marketing funnel in mind. So you want to make sure that from the beginning you have an end goal. So for example, when creating brand awareness is the first thing. You want people to know who your brand is, who you are, what you do. So to do that, you can write blogs, you can share information through infographics or short text pieces. You can also create videos. You want to avoid self-promotion in this because this is really about getting people to trust you and getting people to identify with the information that you're sharing. So brand awareness would be the first thing. And then we will move on to engagement. So again, we were talking about those key performance indicators. You can see where people are engaging with you when your page views go up, when your comments go up, when your shares go up. Those are the types of things that you really want to be aware of. And writing blogs and sharing information and creating videos, avoiding self-promotion are going to help people to feel more readily, are going to help people more readily engage with you on social media. So that'll pull you down into that funnel. And then evaluation. Again, this is we're talking about goals, we're talking about missions, we're talking about KPIs. So you really want to see how people are viewing you. So you want to start asking questions. You want to start pushing people towards sharing more with you. And that will help you really understand where people are at after engaging with your content. And once you understand where people are at and what they're thinking, then you're able to effectively market your services or your businesses, which will lead people to purchase your products. So it's really important that you always create your content with this funnel in mind, especially if your goal is to convert or to make sales. So use this funnel. Again, I can send you guys a content funnel. I don't have my list of links in here, but I can, if you guys email me, I can send you more about this content, this marketing funnel, and how it can be used on your social media. All right, so everyone asks, well, I can create great content all day, but I only get 3 likes, only get 2 likes. How do I get this in front of people? How do more people see it? So it's important that we think that it's important that we develop a content distribution strategy. Excuse me. Developing a content distribution strategy is very important. In addition to your content marketing strategy, a distribution strategy is one in one. It's just as important. So when you create great content, you have to think, okay, how am I going to get this in front of people? What am I going to do? Who am I going to share this with? How do I get the most engagement with this post? So for example, you have to refer to your audience analysis when you're thinking about pulling the demographics, thinking about how your existing customers identify and what they eat and where they hang out and all of these things. Then you're really able to know where you should drop your excuse me, I have to plug my computer in. Then you're able to know where you should share your content. It's important to refer to that audience analysis, because then okay, if my customers, if I'm a retail store and my customers really like to talk about sustainability and recycling, then I might drop my content, or I might create content that is about sustainability and the sustainability of our clothes and the process we take in making that, and share those in recycling groups, or share those in things that are related to that industry. And so that will be a part of the content distribution strategy. Where and when are you sharing this content? You really have to think about that and be intentional about that, so that you can your demographic that it really identifies with your product or your service. I would say at first to stick with organic distribution. Again, sharing in groups, sending to friends and family, sending to existing customers. Though I would stick with that, just so you can get a grip on your content and your content strategy, and you can really get the right feedback on how your content is being received by your followers before I would go into a paid distribution program for your business. Because you don't want to be wasting money if it's just going to fall on deaf ears. You really want to make sure that you are creating content that is going to be effective, and you can do that with your existing followers. You can really gauge how people are receiving your content before you decide to pay for it. So I would stick with organic distribution as opposed to paid distribution. And I would say limit the amount of post, or the amount you post. A lot of people think, oh, okay, I have to post 3 times a day, and it begins to really weigh on the quality of the content and the quality of your post. So I would really stick with making sure that you are focusing on quality instead of quantity. So limit the amount of posts, make sure you're focusing on providing quality posts. That way you continue to grow a group of interested and engaged followers, because they won't continue to be interested if you're just putting out subpar content. just to keep your numbers up and just to keep the amount of times you post up. Make sure that we are limiting our posts so that we can create quality content. And this comes into scheduling. So creating a content calendar. And again, I can share with you all a link. We actually have a download link on our site that I can that I will comment under the do space. I will comment under this video after we're done here, and then I will also be able to be reached by email so I can share with you guys our content calendar template. So I would say when you're creating a content calendar, you want to populate your calendar with fundamental pieces of content. So when I say fundamental, what are pieces of content that really speak for your business, really speak for you? And so what captures attention, what builds loyalty? You want to make sure that you're not just sharing, again, subpar content, that you're sharing really great content that is helping people to engage with you, that captures attention, that builds loyalty, that builds trust. All of those things are what you should put on your content calendar, making sure that each thing that you post is intentional to getting people to engage with you and getting people to really continue to gain interest in your business or your organization. And I say this again, I'm going to repeat, don't go overboard. Make sure that you focus on quality content and not quantity. We're focusing on quality, I just want to reiterate that because it's very important that you're producing content that people want to engage with. If you don't, then they're just going to move on to the next. So make sure we're focusing on quality and not quantity. All right. That is all the information I have for today. We could go really deep in creating content. Again, we shared a few weeks ago some applications that can be used. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but I can share with you guys some resources in order to create content. So we shared a couple weeks ago an application that I use to create my graphics. It's called Over. It's very simple. You can use it on any mobile device. It's on Google Play Store. It's also on iOS. But it's a great app that I use. It has a cheap monthly subscription for the premium, or relatively cheap. And I'll share a review that we did on that. We also talk about in our ebook the SMART method, which really can help you to create a content marketing strategy as well. The SMART method really helps you break down the steps in creating great content and creating a great social media presence. So check out our book. It's our ebook. It's called Beginner's Guide to Social Media Marketing. And it's the part 1 of a 6-series ebook. And this part 1 is entitled Using Social Media to Scale Your Business. So please check out our ebook as well. If you use the code DoSpace, you get $10 off of that too. We also have a few other blogs, so I'm just going to share again our website so that you guys can check that out. And I want to know if anyone has any questions, specific questions that I can answer in the remaining time that we have. I'll open it up for any questions. And I can review any of the things that I talked about as well, if you guys have missed anything. Please let me know. Do you think it is a mistake to outsource content creation if your brand is very niche? Really, when it comes to outsourcing, this is a question from Lorraine. When it comes to outsourcing, I think that outsourcing should really be focused on capacity. So what do you have the capacity to do within your business and do well? So when you're outsourcing content creation, if you don't have the capacity within your business to create quality content, then I would suggest outsourcing it. If you do have the capacity to do so, then I would suggest keeping it in-house, because obviously um, you're the best to be able to tell people what your brand is about, what you guys do, and how you guys service your community. So I think that you should focus on capacity. If you can do it and create quality content, then definitely I think you're the best to tell your story. However, if you cannot, and we want to continue to focus on quality, I would definitely outsource it so that you continue to grow a loyal group of followers that are engaging with quality content on your social media. Does that answer your question, Lorraine? Okay, we have a question in the Q&A. Can you quickly summarize what you touched on in the first 15 minutes? Missed due to Zoom app needed update when logged in. Sure. So I'll just do a quick overview of what we were going over. So we talked about creating a content strategy. Three important portions of that is setting missions, goals, and KPIs. KPI stands for key performance indicators. So those are the metrics that you're using to follow. So your page views, your shares, your comments. How are you accurately measuring your engagement growth on social media? So creating a content strategy is important. I can pull up really quick a link to help you guys with creating a content strategy. Give me a second. And this is another Contently blog. I just shared that in the chat with everyone. So that'll help you guys create a content strategy or get started and if you have any additional questions on that, then I can, you can email me, and I dropped my email in there as well. You can also email, if I don't respond in 24 hours, you can also email my assistant, Lindsay. She's also a graphic designer and a social media marketer as well. So she's great and has a lot of great information. So we talked about that. We also talked about knowing your audience. So how does your audience identify? What are their habits? What are they reading? What are their pain points, their age, location? Just really knowing who your audience is so that you can curate content that is interesting to them, that they want to engage with. So really knowing your audience is important. We also talked about creating or identifying your keyword for your business. There are primary and secondary keywords. I will drop the keywords. So I use something called Moz, along with other applications. And if you guys email me, I can show you what applications I use. But here is here is a link to the keywords. Okay, so I have, what else did we talk about? So we talked about the marketing funnel as well. So you want to make sure that you're creating content with your marketing funnel in mind. So your content needs to feed into your brand awareness, and then into your engagement, and then into the evaluation stage where you're really asking questions of your and understanding your customers and your followers, and then how does that lead them to purchase. So really understanding the roadmap to conversion. So understanding how your content feeds into that is important. Okay, and then we talked about a content distribution strategy. I'll drop the link there about our content distribution strategy. How are we getting our content in front of people? There's another link as well. So that's what we covered in the beginning part. I don't know if that helped you to summarize what we were going over. I'm glad you asked, because I was able to share these links with everyone. Let me go back up. Do you think it is a mistake? Oh, I already read that one. From Rich, are Apple's emojis copyright protected? I don't use them to sell anything, so it's totally fine. It's of my likeness, so I haven't ran into any issues with copyrights. I've been able to put them on social media for years now, and never ran into any issues or got any. No one's ever said anything. I've used them on larger forums too, with viewers. So I've never got any copyright infringement, and I've used it for years. So if that answers your question, Rich, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not sure, but my lawyer hasn't said anything about it, and I've also never gotten any feedback from anyone that says that I use. I've also seen lots of other. It wasn't an idea. I've seen lots of other people on social media use emojis, so I decided to, and the people that I work with will use theirs. So, can you please go a bit more into deep about content calendar? A content calendar can get a little bit. We can't go in too much in depth about a content calendar. However, I will share this link about content calendars and how to create that. So here is a content calendar link. There's also another one I'll share from Hootsuite that's really good. And again, if you guys email me, I can share a content calendar template with you. Hootsuite also has a good one. Here's some tips and templates from Hootsuite that helped me get started a few years ago, and they've updated it since. So here's that. Okay. Alrighty. Not a deal, but not one of the version of DSpace has worked for the discount. I'm happy to pay the $19. Okay. It might have lapsed. I'm not sure what date it is. February 3rd. I have my assistant set that up, so I will check on that. If you send me an email, Tracy, I'll make sure that you get that discount. Or the discount might already be applied if it's at $19. So if you send me an email, Tracy, we can definitely talk about that. I have another question. Is reposting content ever a good idea with tagging the original poster? I'm guessing OP stands for, of course. Yes, reposting content is fine. I work with a few I have a few clients that have partners that they reshare content from, people that are in their same industry. No, it's not, it's totally fine. I mean, especially if you're on Twitter or Facebook, resharing content, it definitely works. That's totally fine. They have they have apps and everything that you can use to reshare. I wouldn't just be resharing content unless that's the type of social media channel that you want to create, is a place where you just are resharing content. I would really think about creating original content. However, it just depends on what your goals are, what your missions are. But resharing content is a good idea sometimes. Okay, Tracy, I will send you an email. I'm gonna look on the site right now and also see, because that might already be with a discount applied. Yes, so it's originally $29 and it's now $10 off for everyone. So the due space code has expired. However, it is on sale for everyone now. So $19. Yes. Um, any other questions? And again, please feel free to email me. No, it's I can share resources all day with you guys. Free of charge, of course. So please make sure if you have any questions, you're asking them, and I can try to answer them, or lead you to the right place to get the answers. You're welcome, Tracy. Any other questions? Let me see if I have. There's another question. Is that due space for the discount? So Henry, it actually is discounted for everyone now. It is discounted at $19. So no need for a code. No need for a due space code anymore. I apologize for that. No need for the code. And I'm just going to kind of share with you guys some more links and content. If you guys have any questions, I'll be here to kind of chat for the next few minutes. Just let me know in the chat if you have any more questions. Where do you get the material? Where do you go to get the material then? Henry, if you can expand on what you mean by get the material, let me know. I can try to answer that. And if anyone checks our ebook, please give me feedback. It is our first portion. We're releasing 5 more parts of that. And I would really love your feedback. Yeah, Henry, if you can give me a little more detail of what you mean, then I can try to answer that for you. What were you offering at discount? Oh, it's our ebook. And I will share the link here again. It is already discounted for everyone, so no need to use the due space code anymore while this promotion is lasting. And I just sent that directly to you, Henry. Any questions about content creation? Let me know. You're welcome, Henry. Any questions? I have another blog also called Engaging with Your Instagram Followers, which is good when you're thinking about content creation. So I'm going to share that as well with you guys. Check that blog out, and it'll help you guys engage better with Instagram followers. Jamie says, do you have any other suggestions for programs to create graphics? Yes. Over, however, is the best in my opinion, just because of the abilities that it has in order to create videos and graphics and motion graphics and things like that. And it's very easy to use. It's also integrated with Google Photos and other free photo services so that you can pull stock images and things from it as well. So I think Over is the best. However, Canva, some people like to use as well. It's good. I think that if you were, depending on the quality of content or your turnaround time, there are things like Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop that can be used as well. Those cost a lot more. As far as for the price, I really think that Over is the best. It's been bought by GoDaddy, so it's the quality of it at the price that it is. I think it's the best in my opinion. So I wouldn't suggest any other ones, but I can send you a list of curated ones. I have one somewhere that I can share with you if you just send me an email. And Jamie, I'm sending you my email directly, and I can get that pulled up for you and sent over to you. Yes, it is Over, and I'll share their website. It's made with over.com, and it is a GoDaddy service. I'll just share it. I shared theirs. That link is also in that blog review that I shared about Over as well. And depending if you want a desktop version of something, Canva will probably be a better resource that is cost effective. But mobile, I think that Over is the best that I've used. Any other questions? Let me see. I think I have one more resource that I can share with you guys. So one thing also is important is to know your competition and what your people in your industry are already doing, so you can identify what your audience wants versus what they're already getting. So you want to make sure that you do a formal gap analysis. And I'm going to share an article about competitive content and how you can have the advantage on that. So, excuse me, I am sharing that now. I can't really go too much deep because a formal gap analysis is kind of a lot. But if you have questions, if you need help, again, you can email me on creating a formal gap analysis as well for you. That'll really help you to see where you are now and where you need to be in order to really stand out in the sea of social media accounts. I have another question from Lorraine. It says, should all content be watermarked? Yes, I would say so. I think that a watermark not only protects your content from being used by someone else, but it also continues to boost brand awareness. So when you're trying to help your brand stick in people's minds, watermark content is important. I'm going to pull up our Instagram and show you an example of how we watermark our content. I'm typing in the wrong thing. Instagram.com. Okay. Let me share my screen really quick. Okay, so here's our Instagram. We watermark our content like this. Okay, well, I guess I have to log in with Facebook. I'm not gonna log in, but you can see what I mean. So we want to watermark our content so that it shows. Our logo is, we use it everywhere as many times as possible, as you can see, so that people identify with our brand and recognize that it's us that is talking on social media. So whenever someone scrolls past our post, they automatically just get that brand recognition from us watermarking our posts. We also use lots of the same colors so that people recognize, that it's us. All right, so for me to continue to log in, but I'm not going to, but you guys get the point. Yes, watermarking content is a good idea for protecting your posts, but also for brand recognition. Did I miss anything? All right, everybody. If there's no more questions, I thank you so much for attending today's webinar, Content Marketing Fundamentals. Next week, we're going to be talking about advertising and what it looks like to create paid ads, what it looks like to do some organic reach as well. So make sure you join us next week, Wednesday at 11 a.m. Right here. You can register on DoSpace now, I believe, Kim, for our next course, and I will see you all then.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Miles. Thank you, everybody, for attending. You can register at DoSpace.org. Also remember to log this at our Beanstack, DoSpace.beanstack.org. Every time you, if you make an account and you attend one of our webinars, it allows you one more chance to win fun prizes with DoSpace. So if you're interested in that, make sure you are creating an account and logging that there. I am putting the website in the chat. Thank you guys for coming. And again, if you are here and you're needing a certificate that you attended, you will be receiving an email basically saying that you attended this webinar. So we don't give out certificates, but you will get that as proof. There we go, proof of attendance. So make sure you see that tomorrow. To the last week's session. Yeah, so all of our, let's see, last week's session, give me one moment.
And by today also, we're resharing DoSpace, all of our sessions on our website as well.
Yeah, so all of our videos
on our site from the DoSpace YouTube.
Yeah, so you can find that there. Yep, so yeah, so about the certificate, we don't give certificates, but you do get proof of attendance via an email, and you should get that tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
If you have any other questions, please email hello@DoSpace.org. Thank you so much, Miles, and we will see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.